There are two ways to manage a team. Coach Derek uses a clipboard, and Coach Bob uses his smartphone and the TeamSnap app. When the practice location changes, Coach Bob touches one button to notify everyone. Coach Derek needs a team. Before the game, Coach Bob confirms he has enough players. At game time, Coach Derek needs a goalie. And while Coach Bob easily collects fees online, Coach Derek can't figure out who hasn't paid. Whatever your game, whatever your group, TeamSnap makes it easy.
And the language of hockey that I'm going to get into, we're going to go through real quick, and hopefully I'll give you some time at the end. But the tough part about presenting a lot of times in PowerPoint is you put these up there and you want to read ahead, and I want you to read ahead. And these are like things that I would ask you as a coach. How many of you are in here today as a staff? Like there's two of you together, like, or are you just all separate? All right, so let's say I'm speaking to you as a staff. And regardless of your level, whether you're at Hockey 1 or whatever you are in the local area, wherever you're from, no matter what your age level you're coaching. Like if you sat down with your assistant at some point today and you said, are these hockey-related terms that we would use? And you just start listing them. Like if your kids went to school, so to speak, would they understand your language? Or if some of you in your 40s in here, as I see you, are you just going to get up and start talking like your normal 40-day language and then coach like Pee-wee type kids during the day or whatever they might be? And then they're supposed to decipher what you're talking about, especially in a split-second situation. Like you have to define your language. So for these terminologies here, these hockey-related terms, to you guys, they might not mean anything. To the two players you just saw, or three players on there, when they get to our team, like that means nothing. This stuff means nothing to them until it takes time. But I believe at my level, and to be really quick and effective as a professional coach, like I don't have a lot of time. And they don't want to have a lot of time for me. Like it's their game. They understand that. So if we get in there and Coach McLean, who's in the back of the room, talks about defense, and he gets up on the board there and he writes DAP, defense at post. Like if you don't know how to play around your post in today's game and you don't have a strategy, like you're in trouble. So we don't get in there and write like defense at post on the whiteboard in between periods, nor some of you don't even have you don't get the ice even probably remade in between. You have 10 or 2 minutes at the board, like right at your bench. Like you're faced with those situations. So as a coach developing, like you have to come up with some type of language that's going to get them right away to where you want them to be, and then they understand it. The repetition that you give as a coach will end up making the difference in what you do. So DAP up there is a very common word. BTN goes right next to it. That's behind the net. Like if we're yelling BTN, like and we put on the whiteboard, our players will know what BTN means like right away. Like it just registers, and then it sends the signals as to how we set up our system as to what we're talking about. So the language that we create within our room, at least in Abbotsford, for me as the head coach, really determines the retention and the speed at which they can uptake the information. You don't have a lot of time as a coach.